you're still a student nurse, but you've already, gone ahead to build something outside the whole concept of nursing. So what was the defining moment for you that made you realize that I am made for more beyond the bedside?
The reality was, I don't want school to pass through me. I want to pass through school. I want to make sure that I am making the most of it. Do you understand? I just tend to make sure that I am aware of the life outside the walls of school, the life outside the walls of being in a student area. I would still go outside this school, I would still graduate. So what do I have to offer? What have I gained? What am I going out with? Who is backing me up? What is backing me up? The country is not even funny again. I heard that salaries of mental nurses, talk more of the nurses, are not even enough to feed a family. So that whole thing to back it up, which is your business, is what has kept me going. That okay, Furo, you're still going to go into the outside world. People are still going to ask you questions. So what do you have to offer? As regards clothing, people will be like, why would you be a nurse and be selling clothes? Like, how does it relate? What exactly are you trying to portray? Are you trying to bring down the profession, or what exactly? So nursing gave me the heart of service, advocacy, compassion. But my purpose showed me that I could express those qualities beyond the walls of the hospital. One good thing I have learned is you can't do it on your own. You need a team. You need people that have been in the game before. You need people that will mentor you. Not necessarily mentor, but you need to follow people that have gone through this again and again. So
welcome to another episode of the Ivy Drips of Wisdom, where we spotlight nurses who are creating impact beyond the bedside through entrepreneurship, digital innovation, and creativity. Today's episode is a special one. Today's episode is our final in the series for 2025. And we are closing the year with a story about purpose, courage, and redefining what's possible in healthcare and beyond. On today's episode, I'm joined by Valerie Jaja, a nursing student who is boldly merging entrepreneurship, women's empowerment, and nursing through fashion. This conversation isn't about choosing one path, it's about honoring purpose wherever it leads. So let's get into it. All right. Thank you once again, Nurse Valerie, for joining us for this month's episode of Ivy Drips of Wisdom. It's such a great pleasure to have you here. All right. So before we get started, I've read about your journey. I've seen your journey as well. I've spoken to you. But I would like you to introduce yourself to our audience, right? Those who will be, listening to you and reading about your journey for the first time. So go ahead.
I'm Valerie Jaja, a 500 level nursing student in Doe University Teaching Hospital. And basically, I am more about empowering women and diversifying as a nurse. Not basically putting all your eggs in one basket, but making sure that you're making an impact wherever you go. Basically, that is me.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for that short introduction. Yes. So let's start from the beginning. Yeah. Where did your nursing journey begin? Okay. Where did it truly begin? And what sparked your passion for women's well-being and your holistic care, as you've also introduced yourself? Yeah.
Basically, it's a funny story, but let me just say it. So basically, my journey for nursing started when I was watching a TV show, and I normally thought nursing was people that pack, pool, people that just lay there, like there was nothing to nursing, basically. So when I was watching a TV show, I saw that, okay, nurses are more than what Nigerians have placed it to be, basically. So when I experienced that whole TV show, I told myself that, Mommy, Daddy, I'm going to register for a job and put nursing as my first choice. And she was like, okay, but are you sure you don't want to do medicine? And I said, no, I want to do nursing. And she was like, okay. Then my dad did his research on nursing. I said, then nursing was not booming. But it's time, nursing, the high rates of nursing started increasing. So my dad now fell in love with nursing even more than me.
Than you.
So, yes. So my whole passion for women and holistic care basically encompasses everything. So me now introducing women into it is because I've always had the mindset that women should be seen, women should be heard, women should be taking it a real of priority, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. So when I had that thought or that passion, I thought to pursue it. I thought to put it out there. I thought to make sure that, okay, women are not just alone, or they're not just treating them. I go to the ward every day. I have my clinical postings. So I tend to make it a habit of mine to ask a lady. I was posted to the maternity ward not too long ago. So ask a lady, how are you doing? Not just I am fine. How are you doing mentally? Because being in the hospital is another tool. Being in that whole environment, that whole space, me feeling that you're being diagnosed with one thing or the other, it's another emotional tool for you. So I tend to make it a habit of mine to ask women, oh, how are you doing? It's not just centered to women here, but I tend to diversify into the ladies aspect here. But yeah, so that's basically my whole experience, how nursing, my journey of nursing started, how I inculcated women's well-being and also holistic care.
Actually, it's an interesting one. Well, so the whole passion started from a TV show. I think everyone has their own story. So the second question, right, is you're still a student nurse. Yet you've already built a thriving fashion brand. I had to even check it out on, on Instagram. So what was the defining moment for you that made you realize that you could create impact beyond the bedside? You're not even fully in the bedside as a practicing nurse. You're still a student nurse, but you've already, gone ahead to build something outside the whole concept of nursing. So what was the defining moment for you that made you realize that I am made for more beyond the bedside?
So basically, as a student, and in 2025/2024, there is a high demand for independence. There's a particular stage you get to realize that you want to make a meaningful impact in your community. You want to build more than just the mere commoners that are just going to school. So my mentality was, I don't want school to pass through me. I want to pass through school. I want to make sure that I am making the most of it. Do you understand? So the part of me diversifying into a nurse, into a entrepreneur, is the fact that I also have needs. It's not all the time you call your parents, oh, mommy, daddy, I need this, I need this, I need this. I also have needs, and I just need to put myself out there. I have a passion here, I have needs. So joining those two together, that I just tell myself that you're not on the wrong track, you're on the right track. With the right mentorship, with the right connections, with the right network, you're still going to prosper. Do you understand? So that's basically my push.
Exactly. Well, definitely this is going to inspire other, students, aside just student nurses, but other students. Because just like you said, especially in this Gen Z age, right? Some of us are still in the Gen Z age range. There is that, that thirst, that desire for, okay, let me try to do something on my own as well without having to completely, it's not like we are trying to, defy all odds of depending on parents and all that, but that thirst, that desire for, okay, let me be in control as well and see how things work. Then how do you, end up trying to balance, clinical training with business? Because I know it's not a small feat. If you go on social media now, you'd see a lot of people talking about work-life balance. It's really not easy, family and all that. So now that we know nursing students is not piece of cake, it's not easy. So what has been the biggest challenges you faced as a student entrepreneur, and what lessons have shaped your growth in terms of seeing how you can balance both, your clinical training, your studies, preparing for exams, and then building a business?
Okay, so the first thing that has been my biggest challenge is with the clothing business. There's little I've posted on my Instagram, but for the people that know me are the people I sell to. So I'm still rebranded. If you can check on my Instagram, there's been a time frame to which I last posted. So the main problem or the main challenge I face is making sure that I source for good fabrics, not just fabrics, good designs, making sure that they are not less quality. Because my main goal is to make sure that my customers are being satisfied. Yeah. But I tend to realize when to stop. So in a case whereby my exams are coming up, I tend to tell my customers, oh, I'll be away for so time for this amount of time. So kindly understand why I'm going to be away. So I built that whole business structure, telling myself that, okay, for 2 weeks, for 3 weeks, I'm going to be centered on my books. It might take a toll on my financial constraint, but then I still have to balance the rest and make sure that there's maximum profit from both ends. That is from school and from business. So that's basically my whole way of maximizing my business life and my school life. But one good thing I've learned is you can't do it on your own. You need a team. You need people that have been in the game before. You need people that will mentor you. Not necessarily mentor, but you need to follow people that have gone through this again and again. So the thing is that I thought the business was easy. I opened it with faith. Oh God, please help me, and everything is going to be fine. But the real truth is, when I launched, I didn't see much buyers. So I tend to lose that drive. Do you understand? So when I notice that, oh, my passion is going down instead of going up, business is not how we want it always. But what makes you is how much you keep on portraying your business.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get? So on my Instagram, I've not done a lot on it. So I have a social media manager that is putting things in place for the Instagram for next year and this December. So that's basically what I've been doing. And aside Casa, I still do some things. So there's this stuff because suya pepper. So I live in Abuja. So I bring suya pepper from Abuja and I sell in school because majority of the food is not so tasty. So you add it into your food and I just tend to make sure that I'm aware of the life outside the walls of school, the life outside the walls of being in a student area. I would still go outside this school. I would still graduate. So what do I have to offer? What have I gained? What am I going out with? Who is backing me up? What is backing me up? The country is not even funny again. I heard that salaries of nurses, talking of the nurses, are not even enough to feed a family. So that whole thing to back it up, which is your business, is what has kept me going. That okay, so you're still going to go into the outside world. People are still going to ask you questions. So what do you have to offer? So basically, that's what I have learned, that you can still juggle the two, but learn how to strike a balance. Learn how to tell yourself, okay, take a pause. This is time for education. Read this period. Immediately you're done. Tell your customers that, okay, you're back, and that's it.
That's it.
Yes.
Yeah, I got two points from the conversation. First thing you made mention, like which just resonates so well, is having a team, right? As someone, of course, who has been years in business myself, like you said, business sometimes, especially when you get started, sometimes social media it just has its own way of painting pictures. So if no one really passes through the path of entrepreneurship, they'll think, oh, entrepreneurs don't really have worries. It's a life that is free of the whole juggles that maybe even 9 to 5ers go through. But entrepreneurship has its own, like, I feel like it's one of the toughest parts to actually walk through. And like you mentioned, you can't do it alone. You definitely need people who can support, who make up your team, right? And even if you're just starting like on a solo journey, you still need the support. Doesn't mean you have to pay them, but it could be friends, it could be colleagues, it could be family that can come through. And then something you also made mention that I picked up is the fact that as students, we shouldn't, students should not just rely on, because they're in school, so everything should be about school. They should start exposing themselves to what is going on outside. And I think that's one of the mistakes that they make. And when they come and realize, oh, this is how the world looks like far away from school, they get shocked. Jobs are not forthcoming, and they can't really make so much out of the whole education they got in school. Many nurses and even students still feel afraid to explore interest outside clinical practice, right? So many people feel like it is what I go to school to read that I must do at the end of the day. Like, I am a nurse, so I have to stick to, this path or whatever path they've taken. So what fears did you personally have to overcome? Like, okay, did you experience any fear of, oh, am I really going outside nursing? Is it not going to damage my reputation or, cause conflicts with my identity? So how did you overcome this fear? How did you pass through these fears? Yeah.
So I think I have 3 points. The first one is about being independent, basically. So like I said earlier, there was a strike of knowing what you want and also having what you want. So in a nursing setting, there is a lot of demands as a student. There's a lot of emotional demands, financial demands, and everything. So now trying my possible best to be independent was one thing that I was scared of, because I normally tell myself that anything I need, my mom and my dad give it to me. Last born things. Anything I want, my mom and my dad. The crazy truth is that it's not every time that we get what we want. You understand? So one biggest fear I had to tell myself is that, oh, you have to be independent. You have to come out of that shell. You have to show yourself that, oh, you can do what you want. You can. Your mindset can push you. Your mindset has to change as well. So another one was judgment. I'm very particular about judgments, because as regards clothing, people will be like, why would you be a nurse and be selling clothes? Like, how does it relate? What exactly are you trying to portray? Are you trying to bring down the profession, or what exactly? So I had to tell myself that my drive is not based off of people's opinion. My drive is based off of my own personal encounter. And my personal encounter had to do with when I saw a lady that was very, very, she said a whole lot of things about her body, about her curves, about how she never feels good. She has to wear baggy clothes, she has to do this, she has to do this. And I'm like, no, this goes beyond the physical. This goes beyond what we can see. We have to attack it emotionally. We have to make sure that we cure the mind. Do you understand? So basically I had to overcome the fear of judgment and the fear of basically being independent. And I think the last I would say is not having enough. As human beings, we tend to want more.
Yeah.
We tend to want to afford the standard that we are raising for ourselves. So, in as much as I'm a nursing student, there are certain things I want to get for myself. There are certain extra things. You need to do online courses. You need to pay for registration for a conference or something. You need to better your knowledge, basically. So, one of the things that I saw was I can't really lay on the emphasis of, okay, immediately I'm done with school, but to give me a good one after internship. After I'm done with that, I'll start being a nurse. After I'm done with that, I'll wait till I get married. After I'm done, like, I didn't want my life to be in one train. So I had to tell myself that this was not something that went. I feel like I'm still training myself over time. That this is something you have to tell yourself that, okay, you can overcome. You have to overcome these fears in order for you to be the person you want, in order for you to be the best version of yourself, basically. So those are the fears, and basically I feel like accepting that I am allowed to be more than one thing was one thing I had to tell myself, that you can still diversify. Nothing is the path. Nothing is my identity here, but I also have to have something on the side. I also have to have my purpose. I also have to have my drive. So that's how I tried. I'm still trying, because I feel like there's still more things that I'm pushing away. But those were my main things: judgment and being independent and not being enough, like not having enough.
And I can relate so well with that fear of judgment, because I think so many, literally humans are so concerned about what people say, right? You find someone not taking the step that they need to take because they're scared. What will people think? What will my family think? The decisions. And the funny thing is, like, other people don't really care so much, because everyone has their own lives, and you get. So I feel like it's even maybe more of your parents and maybe very, very close friends and people who are so very close, like your loved ones, that maybe can show that so much concern. But in the outside world, like even on social media, yes, you can find people who are your greatest supporters, your cheerleaders, but really people don't really go to bed and start thinking of your own problems. They think of their own problems. So sometimes we really fear so much what will people say, and we miss out on opportunities. So thank you so much for actually emphasizing all that. So let's talk about purpose. You've mentioned purpose, and I think this is something, personally, I have read a couple of books, and my current book that I'm reading is even on purpose, and I feel like it's a topic that especially the young generation, like the youth, are still having conflicts on. Like, some people still don't even understand what it means. Some people are still on the search. Personally, I'm still on the search for purpose, right? So how would you define purpose today, and how did discovering yours influence the direction of your career and business?
Okay, so for me, my purpose today is basically living with God's gifts for my life. It's basically living in alignment with God's gifts for my life. So you cannot tell me that somebody dropped the hat of caring for a woman, making sure a woman is heard, all of a sudden. It did not fall from the sky. It's definitely from God. So I think I'm still learning and unlearning my purpose. But basically, my main mindset is, so far God has given me this gift in my mind. I'm definitely going to use it in a meaningful way. I'm definitely going to use it to make sure that the world sees. But I feel like my purpose is not my career path. It's basically the reason behind the things I do. It's not the train to where we are going to. It's the reason as to why we are going to where we are going. That's basically my purpose, basically. So I think I wrote a few things down, and this whole purpose thing has resonated so much in my purpose, because this is one thing I normally pray about, that God, please show me my purpose, help me to discover what exactly I need. So I wrote down, discovering my purpose changed everything for me. It made me realize that I am not limited to one title or one space. Nursing gave me the heart of service, advocacy, compassion. But my purpose showed me that I could express those qualities beyond the walls of the hospital.
Yeah.
So that still boils down to all I've been saying here. I can go to the hospital now. You have to learn in nursing. You cannot. There's so many people that have empathy burnout, but then with your experiences, you cannot just see someone going through pain and not want to help. So that has now made me diversify that drive towards business, towards my reason behind having a clothing brand. Most clothing brands are just okay. Let's do this, let's do this. But no, the way I'm rebranding and I'm trying to tell myself that okay, no, Furo, my pet name is Furo. In case you keep on hearing Furo, so Furo, you have to have a strong reason. If your purpose is not strong, I feel like you still fall along the line. I feel like you won't have a good grip, you won't have a good foundation, so you tend to question or you tend to second guess certain things. So I wrote down again. That's why my career and that's why my nursing journey and my business has moved towards the same direction. Empowering women, basically. But I feel like I will still learn more on other things. But now my drive now is how to empower women, how to give them a voice, how to make sure that they're not just seen, they're also heard.
Yeah.
There's also somebody to resonate with you. Like you made mention that there are certain things you resonate with. So that's basically it. And I wrote again, understanding my purpose gave me clarity. It helped me stop second guessing myself. It guided my decisions. It shaped my brand and taught me to pursue my path that aligns with who I'm becoming. Because I feel like you cannot stop learning. You have to be learning, you unlearn, you keep on learning, you unlearn what you thought was right, but you cannot stop learning. You learn every day. So for now, my purpose is compassion for both my nursing journey and my business. If it does not align with my impact, if it does not align with impact and empowerment, I don't think it's meant for me.
And to add up to what you've said, drawing from a book which is written by Dr. Miles Monroe, about understanding your purpose and your potential. He made mention of the fact that there's difference between the job that you do and the work that you're born to do, right? That there are two differences. Job is what maybe you studied in school or what you're being paid for, right? Paid salary, paid wages to do. But your work is different. Your work is what you're being born to do. And you find that so many, not just even nurses, but so many professionals are stuck with their life just revolves around their job. Like it's not like I'm saying getting a job is wrong. You definitely have to, because that is, from there you can get a paid salary to meet up, bills and all that. But then even drawing from that book, of course, we are not just here on earth to pay bills. So we need to, have that desire to actually find out what exactly is my relevance on earth, right? And that is what we even push us to discovering our purpose. Just like you now, you've connected it to your clothing brand, and beyond just selling clothes, there you're a leader even before graduating. Yes. So how do you keep learning? You made mention of it that we have to keep learning, because the moment you stop learning, to me, that is when you actually you might not be dead physically, but mentally and other aspects. Yes, you're not growing. So how do you keep learning, evolving, and staying grounded, even while you are building in two different worlds? You're building in the world of nursing, you're building in the world of business. So, leadership is not even really by titles in every space, because right now you are actually merging two different worlds together, healthcare and fashion. So, and that is leadership in another direction. So how do you keep evolving, keep learning, like merging two worlds together? Yeah.
So I feel like learning is a continuous process, and one thing I have to tell myself constantly is you have to stay humble.
Yeah.
You have to learn from those that have done it. You have to make sure that you're getting the right advice from lecturers, from mentors, from parents, from entrepreneurs, from influential people, basically. So I would say it's very brief. Being humble and making sure that I have a continuous process of learning. Do you understand? So that's for me.
That's been humble. Really, it counts, because I don't just want to say much, but then I think it's something we actually have to watch out for. Like everyone, the moment we start growing, there is that tendency that I've gotten to the stage where maybe I don't even need advice from mentors ahead. So it's something we should actually watch out for. So now, looking into the future, how do you see yourself merging nursing, business, and advocacy? Right? Let me just say, like in 5 years from now, if you could achieve anything you want to achieve, if you could see, how you're merging both nursing business and even advocacy for women's empowerment, like what long-term impact do you think this journey would be making? Like if you could achieve, if you had everything in you, there was no obstacles to stop you to achieving what you wanted to achieve.
So I wrote something down so I won't forget. So nursing gives me the clinical understanding for women's health. My business allows me to build confidence and create a space where women feel seen. And advocacy ties everything together, thereby giving me a voice to speak about women, not just them being heard, not just them being headless. So basically, me saying this is nursing has a way of training you, nursing has a way of making you, I feel, a bit diligent. So it's a bit diligent. So now imagine me having my drive towards my business. So weighing the two of them helps me inculcate advocacy. Therefore, propagating myself, telling the fact that women are meant to be heard, women are meant to be seen. That's basically what I'm looking for in the future. And my long term, I think things will change. But for now, this is what I have. This is what I'm saying. In the next 5 years, definitely, I want everything to be bigger, to be better. But this is where I'm tilting towards, making sure that my business builds women's confidence, making sure that I've gotten my clinical understanding of women's health, generally holistic care, making sure that I understand everything that has to do with nursing, then bringing that knowledge from both nursing and both my business and advocating it to women in my community. That's my long-term goal.
Okay, that's interesting. Nursing, business, and then advocacy is like the knot that ties both of them. That's interesting.
Yes.
And I love the fact that you said, you highlighted the fact that things can change. We are all humans, right? Yeah, sometimes we might feel like, oh, we've got everything figured out. The next minute, we are looking at another angle. But I know no matter what, no matter the direction that your journey takes, there is, like the purpose and, what the goal you have in mind and your why will always, find a way to make sure that it's still aligned to the abilities you have and the skills you have to bring impact even in women's empowerment and even other angles. So finally, what is one message that you want every nurse, every student, or aspiring creator or entrepreneur who is listening to this episode to walk away with? It can be like a mantra, a philosophy, like a line that you've always, it's just something that, a principle that you've attached your life to or you live by every day. So any advice for anyone, whether student, nurse, or even non-nurse who is watching or be reading the article, any advice for them?
Yeah. So my full line or what I'm about to say is something I've said before. So your title, your degree, or your current stage in life does not determine your full potential. You can still do whatever you want. You can still diversify. You can still you can still hold two things together, but make sure that you have a good structure. Make sure that there is a reason behind anything you're doing. Make sure that there's a scientific rationale in the nursing term on what you're doing. And never stop because somebody is telling you, oh, it doesn't align with your passion or it doesn't align with your career. Yeah. Never stop because somebody is telling you, oh, how would you be a nurse and you want to be a tailor? You're a tailor because of something. And you can align you being a tailor and also being a nurse. Bringing the two of them together, therefore bringing another perspective that the young generation will look up to.
If this episode resonated with you, let us know in the comments and what part of Valerie's story stood out for you the most. And this brings us to the end of Every Drips of Wisdom for 2025. Thank you for watching, listening, sharing, and believing in stories that remind nurses that they are limitless. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this episode with a nurse who needs this reminder. And if you're a nurse creating impact beyond the bedside, we would love to feature you in a future episode. Until next episode, stay inspired, stay courageous, and never shrink.